Hi everyone, welcome back to Just Honest Podcast. Today's episode is going to be creepy Reddit stories. And again, we're still in Spooktober.
Ooh,
as you can tell by our costumes, our amazing costumes. Can you tell what we are?
I'm Satan.
And I'm an angel.
Both of us. Okay, these Reddit stories that I got are... There's two categories.
Yeah.
There's more paranormal. So I've got haunted dolls and ghosts and spirits.
Okay.
That's one. And then I've also got stalker stories.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this sort of relates back to episode 6, where we talked about us being followed home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd relate back to that. So if you haven't seen that episode, I'll link it down below.
Yeah.
Go watch it. We talk a lot more about like men, women in society, and especially brown society in India and in Canada.
Yeah, and our experience with like dealing with what happened with that stalker, not really stalker, just like followed.
Yeah, being followed. Which was scary.
Yeah.
It was like a whole thing, especially as young women. We were early 20s.
You know what I just realized? My teddy bear is red and your shirt is red, yours is white, and my shirt is white.
That is so funny.
Sick.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I just noticed that.
Okay. Go watch that. It's actually doing really well, which we're really proud of, and it's unfiltered. Us just literally yapping.
Being honest.
Being honest and just saying things as it is. Straight facts. Let's jump into the stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't look at it.
Why?
I hate it when you look at it because then I get nervous.
I don't read it though. I can't read it from here.
Okay.
I'm blind.
You have your glasses on.
I know, but I'm still blind.
Okay.
Blah.
Okay. So the first stalker story. To preface this, I'm going to give some backstory about myself. I'm a sophomore or 10th grader in high school and just recently moved. So last October or so, I got really bored and decided, hey, I'm gonna go mess with people on Tinder. Not like catfishing or anything, more so being stupid pickup lines and just dumb things. All was going well. I got a couple of laughs and then some person added me and started making very, well, let's just say, suggestive comments. To this, I decided I would clown on them and mess with them because they were very persistent, but that was a mistake. My second big mistake was giving them my Instagram handle.
Ooh, why would you do that?
Yeah. I figured since I had no posts or anything, it was no big deal. But this person was able to get more information than I thought and would have preferred them to have. After this, they became much more aggressive, like way more aggressive. Threats ranging from assault to killing me. I was incredibly naive at the time and didn't think to block the person because, well, I was having a bit too much fun with it. Clowning on them and baiting them with my friends was pretty entertaining. Eventually, it came to my attention that they were a alumni of my high school. I also found out that they weren't who they said they were, and that it was actually a gay black dude from OU instead of some random basic white chick. So they were catfishing.
Oh.
Yeah. Because he was an alumni, I decided to ask around some seniors I knew to try to get some info on him. I learned a lot, and my biggest takeaway was that I was messing with the wrong dude. Apparently his threats weren't as empty as I thought they were, and that he would do everything in his power to ruin my life if I blocked him. So I blocked him. And all was going good until about a year later.
Oh my god.
It's August now, and all of a sudden he keeps popping back up. He's made new accounts and reassesses me on them. Reassesses? And he re-adds me.
Oh.
On
I was like, what do you mean reassesses? Like, he gives you a test?
Multiple times, and I'm not sure what to do. His harassment will not stop, and I just want this to stop. Almost once a week, a new account will add my Instagram or Snap and send messages such as, why did you block me? You're going to regret that. It will not stop, and I don't know what to do. I keep blocking the accounts, but he will not stop. And the poster is a young male as well.
See, I feel like if you're gonna troll someone, make sure it's like a stranger, like not like.
But they didn't know to begin
But
with.
that's still like like if you
Don't give the Instagram.
The thing is, if you're on Tinder, like it's gonna be people around you in your city.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you wanna like troll people, because like yeah, sometimes it can be fun. Go on like some anonymous website, like.
I know Omegle was a thing. I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
I don't think it is. I think it got like blocked or whatever. It's like discontinued or some shit. But it's like, why would you do that? Like, it's just what I mean. Like, some people are so stupid when it comes to like giving their information. They're like, oh, it's not gonna be me, but it could be you.
Because you never know what type of tech knowledge someone has. Because this guy is like a 15-year-old, usually 15, 16 in grade 10.
Yeah. No, people are insane, dude. You can't trust them. Because I think you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but like I got my Instagram hacked, right?
Oh yeah.
And that was like a whole thing, is like all of my information was on there. I was lucky enough that I didn't have anything like saved that was any
credit cards or
or any like pictures
addresses.
or any like messages or nothing. Like people were asking me, they're like, oh my god, you got hacked, don't you have like messages? Bitch, I don't do that shit because I'm smarter than that. Never put any of your personal information online. I even like, it's gotten to the point where like with my bank account, I only open my bank account when I'm on our home Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, I never use Wi-Fi outside to do that personal stuff. I don't do that. If anything, I do use data if I need to. Otherwise, I always do it at home.
Because it's insane. It's gotten like, because AI shit, like
Meta,
it's
everything?
crazy. Like AI things, like I saw this one thing. It was like on TikTok or Instagram or something. Mm-hmm. Some lady got a phone call from her daughter supposedly, and she was like screaming and like in the background, and the person on the phone was just like, give me like $1 million and then I'll let your daughter go. And then she hangs up the phone, and then she calls her daughter, and her daughter's like, yeah, I'm fine. The person had used a recording of the daughter's voice and made an AI version of it, of her screaming for help in the background. So it's like, it's gotten to that point. Like, you have to be so careful with shit like that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are taking right now it's mostly celebrities' voices and putting them through AI generators and making them say things that they have not said.
Not even that, it's also like putting them like in explicit photos and videos and stuff.
Deep fakes.
It's so fucked.
Yeah. See, that's another topic. Like, I really want to do like a dive into deep fakes and all that, and like, but it's also scary because that's the black market.
Yeah.
That's like all this like underneath the internet stuff that regular people like us don't usually touch. Yeah. And it is scary to research, because if they get your information, your IP address, you click on the wrong thing, you're screwed.
Because the thing is, people are actually insane. Like, you never give your information to someone unless you fully trust that person. Never give your phone number, your Instagram, nothing. Not even your home address, like literally nothing. I had this one person, I think I told you, but like we were messaging on Tinder, right? And this is like a year ago now. And he was so persistent on like trying to get our home address. It was really weird because like we were texting and stuff, right? And like we'd known each other for maybe like a couple days. And it was just, you know, obviously I was trying to date. And he was very persistent on trying to get our home address. Because he kept on asking me like, oh, let me send you something. Like, what's your address? And I was like, I don't want that. And then like, he's like, oh, it's because it was close to Valentine's Day. He's like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. Let me send you like some food as like a gift or whatever. What's your home address? I was like, no, I'm good. People are weird like that. Like, you have to be so like on top of your shit. Like, don't give anyone anything.
Oh my god, that reminds me, remember the girl?
Yeah.
Wait, let me tell it. So literally, but basically, I was outside in my car. I think I just got back home. Mm-hmm. And my garage was open, and I was coming in, and I just hear my name, and someone's just like, Joti. And I'm just like, what? So I turn around, and this girl that we knew was just walking, and she's like, hey, what's up? And she walked up our driveway.
Ooh.
And started talking to me, and I'm like, why are you here? We were in the same like dance team and everything. Yeah. Which like, yeah, but
we didn't like her. She was not a good person.
Not a good person and everything. But hey, I was nice. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I just saw you, and I know you lived around here, so I just came to say hi and talk to you a little bit. And she's like, can I get a ride to dance practice on Sunday? Oh, we're not going to dance practice on Sunday. Because I'm like, what am I supposed to say, right?
Yeah.
because we actually weren't. I think we're gonna go out of town or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, we're not going. Sorry, I can't give you a ride. And she's like, oh, okay, that's totally fine. She's like, I'll see you next time. Like, have a good day. I'm like, okay, bye. Girl knew we lived there. Like, I get it. We're brown. We live in the Northeast. But actually knowing where my house is without me telling you where my house is and showing up there, don't show up to my house.
That's creepy behavior, dude.
It was so weird. I don't know what was going through her mind, but I'm like, dude, seriously. But anyways, this is like off topic.
But it's kind of the same thing. It's like,
it is.
Like, that's why
People do weird stuff.
I'm so like, I will never give my information to anyone. Like, I won't even give someone my last name unless it's like necessary for them to know my last name. I don't even give people my last name. Like, I'm like, this is my first name and that's all you need to know about me. Don't even tell them like your birthday and shit like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're like close friends or something. Like, you can't trust people.
Like,
I just can't.
I keep a lot of things like hidden, like as mysterious as possible, and I only give information out if it's absolutely necessary, like you said.
Yeah.
Because you don't know why they're asking. You don't know who's gonna remember, who else is overhearing anything. So that's why I'm just like, I'm private, but not secret.
Have you seen that thing where like someone was giving their number to like a doctor's office? They asked for their number for confirmation, and then some person that was in the line, like a man, wrote down their number and then like messaged them or called them afterwards.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. And that's why whenever they ask for my number at like medical offices, I try to whisper it, or I'm like, can I just like write it down for you? Because I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because like, ugh, you
like,
don't know
I don't give
people.
my number out to a lot of people.
Yeah.
If anything, you have my professional email me.
Yeah.
Do not contact me through text message unless we are family or friends.
Yeah.
And I've given you permission to contact me through the number.
Don't give your information out. Nothing.
Don't.
And don't try to mess with people even in your own city. Like,
don't.
Maybe if they're in like a different country on the other side of the world, maybe you can do it. But then, even then, you shouldn't be doing that shit.
Yeah, don't do it. I hope that person, because I think it's like a couple years ago or something, I hope that person's okay.
Yeah.
That they were able to get that resolved. Otherwise, I feel so bad for you. Okay, so the next one directly relates to what we went through. So these girls were followed by a car on the way home. So it seems pretty harmless, like just listening to the story, but I think the creepiest part is always when you think about what could have happened or what is in the mind of these two grown-ass men.
Ugh, it's always men.
It's always men. So basically, to just introduce you real quick to my relatives, my two sisters, my brother-in-law, my cousins, and her boyfriend, who is the brother of my brother-in-law. And my other cousin, male, were on basic, like every summer holiday in Montenegro. But there maybe was another cousin with a friend of hers as well, but I'm not really sure. We're out in the town, in old town of Ulsing. We stayed very long since some of us were really in the mood for partying and all that. So as the night comes to an end and the club's slowly empty, we decided to leave as well. We talked before we got into our cars and agreed to all stay at my cousin's house for the rest of the night. The girls go home, the boys stop at some shop by the road to grab some snacks and drinks and then go home. That was the plan. Our car, the ones with the guys, was in front of the car where the girls were. But we somehow forgot to stop by the shop, so the girls had noticed and they stopped instead of us to grab snacks. As my elder sister explained, there were two guys who wanted to talk to my younger sister right at the cash register. Somehow my younger sister didn't notice them, but wasn't aware that they were talking to her. To be honest, I don't remember if any of the girls told the guys anything, like to leave them alone or something, or if they just ignored them. So they bought what they needed, got in the car, noticed that the two guys were following them, driving behind them.
Oh.
I have to interrupt here, but this alone is just crazy, especially because none of them gave them a sign of any kind of interest, and then also because it was two guys and not one, this means they supported each other and neither of them told the other to just let it be. Crazy.
Ugh.
So as my elder sister is driving, she drives purposely slower so she can be sure if they are really following them. And if so, that the followers don't lose them. The girls basically wanted to lure them to the house now, knowing the boys have already arrived home earlier. Again, these guys that were following them had enough time to just take a turn because the roads are very narrow. Anyway, it was in the middle of the night. They knew they could only be driving home. and from the little shop to the house was about a 5-minute drive. Mm-hmm. I know it's short, but it should be enough for 2 grown-ass men to figure that they should just take a turn and leave. I constantly have a picture of them following them blindly into those narrow roads of our neighborhood just because they can't keep their hormones together like some animals. Just disgusting. So as they arrive in front of the gate to my cousin's house, she steps out of the car all hectic and calls her boyfriend and my brother-in-law. They didn't know what was going on, but as they approached the gate, they saw the other car right behind the girls. The guys in the car saw the other guys at the gate and drew the slowest and most shameful drive of shame backwards to get out of the neighborhood because, narrow roads.
Yeah.
We then laughed about it a little and thought it was hilarious, especially the way they were driving away backwards. But honestly, it's still creepy that some people out there can't control their urges.
Oh, see, if I was being followed, I would never lead them to my house because that just tells them where you live.
And for future things.
Yeah, and then they could still, like, drive by sometime and, like, try to break into your house because people are insane.
But, like, obviously these girls, because they didn't know what else to do. And I get it.
Yeah.
But drive to a police station if you possibly can. And I do get this is in Montenegro, but... Dude, do not lead anyone to your house.
That's fucking... first of all, that's fucking weird. Why are you following people? Like, what were you gonna do once you got there? Like, you really think they were gonna be like, oh yeah, just come right in. Yeah, just come right in. Oh my god, we didn't see you at the store. Now we want you in our house. Like what the fuck? Or were they gonna, like, force themselves in there and try to, like, do...
Yeah, because men see younger women.
Like, them or something.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're young, they're more vulnerable... We can do whatever we want.
Try this shit with me, dog. Fucking knock you the fuck out. This is exactly why if a dude ever tries to start shit with me or starts being creepy, I tell him, fuck you.
Yeah. It's like, if it's unwanted attention, it's like, I'm not looking for it, don't.
Just start going crazy. Just start tweaking. That's what I'm gonna do.
You sound like a dog.
That's what I'm gonna do. I start screaming and yelling. Make a scene. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's the thing with women. Like, we're always so scared to make a scene. Make a scene.
And
make a scene.
Don't yell help or scream. Yell fire. Because people
or just
listen
scream at the top of your lungs as loud as you can. Just say, get the fuck away from me! Like, just scream. Make a scene.
And rush at them because they will run.
Make a scene. They are literally, if they're gonna act like animals, then treat them like animals. Like, run at them. Like, do the fucking get out scene. Fucking run towards them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Just run. Just, like, stare at them and just run.
Yeah, girls have done that, and it's really effective.
Like, just start scaring them back. Like, act like a, like, deranged. Like, just act deranged.
Yeah.
That is the only way to get rid of freaks.
Because these men are crazy. You gotta act crazy. You gotta out crazy their crazy.
Literally.
Basically. And if they call you crazy, hey, that's your opinion of me. Cool, let's move on. Right?
Carry like a fake knife with you if you can and just pull it out.
Yeah.
What was that thing that I was saying where I was just like, people like underestimate me, like what if I had a knife?
Oh,
what was I talking about?
It's like you never know who you're messing with.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you, like, what if I'm absolutely batshit crazy? Like
what if
if I just got out of the mental asylum?
Or like, what if I was like on bath salts and had a knife in my pocket? Like, why are you coming up to me? Like, men have no sense of like survival skills at all because like, why are you approaching women? Like, they'll see just like a random woman. It's like, what if she's like off the fucking rails? Like,
what
on
if she's
drugs?
a serial killer?
Literally.
Like,
y'all don't think about that.
Oh, like, women think about it because we're just like, we're always protective of ourselves because we have to be.
Yeah.
So, men,
no, I'm gonna start.
do better.
I'm gonna start acting like a freaking serial killer around creepy men. Like, I'm gonna start scaring the living hell out of them so that they can learn their lesson. Don't fuck with women.
Yeah.
Because we could be crazy. I could be crazy.
I am crazy.
I could be carrying a knife. I could have a gun on my person. You don't know that.
You don't know. How would you know?
Don't follow me, bitch.
So the next one is, the title is The One Mistake That Followed Me for 7 Years.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is a woman as well. It all started in high school. I was a naive, shy, and awkward 14-year-old when I asked this one guy to our school's Sadie Hawkins dance, which is basically when girls ask the guy. I knew him from a mutual friend of ours, but we didn't really talk. All I knew was that we both liked anime and manga, and that he was kind of quiet most of the time.
Red flag, sorry. Red flag.
So I wanted to be nice, and I asked him out to the dance. That was mistake number 1. That started the years of torment.
See, here's the thing, first of all, before you continue.
Yeah.
If someone is isolated and they act like a weirdo, there is a reason.
100% a reason.
There is, like, sometimes...
We've learned that
like, the thing is, like, you can give them the benefit of the doubt and you can try to talk to them, but if they even give you, like a tinge of, like, oh, I'm a fucking creep, then just, like, back the fuck up. Because it's happened to me so many times where I'm like, I'd like to be nice to people.
And include everyone.
There is a reason why these people are isolated. Leave them alone. Especially as women, leave them alone. If there's, like, a weird dude who's just sitting by himself, don't talk to him. I don't care what anybody says. If people are going to call you a bitch, they're going to call you conceited.
Yeah.
It's better to be a bitch and to be conceited than to be a victim.
100%.
I don't give a fuck what
you
anybody
don't have
says.
to cater to men. Do not. I've learned the hard way too.
Yeah.
Befriending people that were isolated and a little bit shy and quiet. Because I was shy and quiet, but I wasn't isolated. And I was on the other spectrum of that.
Yeah.
So there is a difference.
Yeah, like there is a reason why these people
get that. Okay, anyways. So he said yes. And we agreed that we would just meet at the dance with the rest of our friends. A few hours later, I get a message on Facebook from him. And it's a long message telling me that he always had a crush on me, that I was beautiful, and that he couldn't compare my beauty to anything else because he considered that an insult to how beautiful I was. It was pretty cringy, but at the end of it, he asked if I would be his girlfriend. I was uncomfortable after reading the entire message, but again, being the shy and awkward 14-year-old that I was, I told him yes. Mistake number 2. He was ecstatic. He asked me to call that night and asked for my number, and I gave it to him. Mistake number 3.
Again, don't give people your information.
Yeah. He called me later that night, and I learned a lot of things that I did not want to know. One of the major things was that this guy was a massive crybaby. I'm not trying to say that men that cry are weak, but this guy would cry at everything and would always play the victim. Felt like all his friends didn't like him, cry. No girl other than me would love him, cry. Teacher failed all of his assignments even though he openly admitted he didn't want to do any of the work, cry. The list goes on, but I'll get to more of that later.
He was like the type to be like, you can just leave me anyways. Everyone does.
Yeah. Basically.
Shut the fuck up.
I also learned that night that he had a foot fetish.
Ugh.
And now that I was his girlfriend, he was going to do so many things to my feet. Again, not trying to shame anyone, but as a 14-year-old who didn't like showing off.
I feel like we should switch things. You're not gonna shame. I am shaming.
No, this is the girl saying.
I am shaming.
I'm reading a story. Okay, but yeah. Again, not trying to shame anyone, but as a 14-year-old who didn't like showing off any part of my body, I was uncomfortable, and when I went silent for a bit, guess what? He cried because I thought he was a freak. His words, not mine. I told him no, I didn't think that, though I was starting to. He instantly cheered up. He continued to call me every night, and the conversations usually were the same as the night he called until the night of the dance. At the dance, he mentioned he never had his first kiss and how sad it was. I already had my first kiss at this point, and I'm so glad he wasn't it. I kissed him at the dance just to get it over with. However, throughout the night, he would try to kiss me even more and even tried shoving his tongue in my mouth. It got so bad that a teacher had to pull us apart. Of course, he goes off to sulk and cry. After the dance, I got a text from him saying how magical I made the night for him, that the kiss was delicious, not exaggerated, and how the stupid teacher didn't understand our love. Again, not exaggerating. I was feeling pretty sick to my stomach at this point and wanted to break up with this guy, but I stayed a little bit longer. Mistake number 4.
You made the night so magical. Bitch, you traumatized her by sexually assaulting her.
Yeah, without, like, of course, like, she gave the, first kiss?
But still, that doesn't mean continue.
The rest of it, right? 2 days later, he asked me out on a date to the movies. Stupidly, I said yes, and he asked if one of his best friends could come and if I could bring one of my best friends since his friend found her attractive and wanted her to be his girlfriend. I told both of them no, because he wasn't her type, and in all honesty, she hated him. They kept pushing me to bring her, but I kept telling them no. His best friend calls me Killjoy, and he did his usual thing of crying because he didn't get what he wanted. We go to Lorax at night, and his friend sits behind us. The second the lights go out, he turns my head and starts kissing me and pushing his tongue into my mouth. I tried to push him away because I was not going to let him do this to me the entire movie. Again, His friend is right behind us and he keeps trying to kiss me. So the movie ends, and when I get home, he sends me a text saying he was depressed and a picture of my feet would make him feel better. I told him no, and he threatened to kill himself. And it would all be my fault because I didn't send him a photo.
So, see, if somebody ever did that to me and they said, I'm gonna myself, because I would be like, do it. Oh.
Okay, horrified at how fast he snapped, I sent him a photo. Next night, he asked if I had been naughty lately.
Ugh.
Knowing where this was leading to, I told him no. He then starts crying about how I was cheating on him and that I had been naughty with other people. And again, he threatened to self-delete. I tried to calm him down by telling him that I was a virgin and was not a sexual person at all. He suddenly, as if on a dime, stops his fit and asked me if we could just completely forget about what just happened. I tried telling him that what he did was incredibly inappropriate, and I was about to tell him to leave me alone, but he pulled the victim card again and started crying. During the crying, he asked for another picture of my feet to calm him down. Scared he was going to snap again, I sent him another picture. This continued for a few more days until he would try to message me whenever I was busy at school, babysitting, volunteer work, etc. Accusing me of cheating, telling him what was going on, him saying sorry, playing the victim, and asking for pictures of my feet to calm him down. I eventually had enough, and after 2 weeks of dating him, broke off the relationship. He cried, of course.
That was all in 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. He cried, of course, and begged that we at least stay friends. School year was ending, and he said he was transferring to a new school, so I figured I would never see him again, right? Wrong. Beginning of school year, he would message me, and when I didn't respond, cry and threaten to kill himself. After a while, I just started to ignore the messages and threatened to call the police if he didn't stop messaging me. Thought he would have stopped after that, right? Wrong again. Every year up until I was 21, he would message me random things at random times. Some examples. Hey, my friend. We're friends, right? Can you send me a picture of your feet? I miss you. I'll never leave you alone. And no, I'll leave you alone if you want me to. I'm pathetic, aren't I? And so much more. And each time I ignored him and finally blocked him on every platform he tried to contact me on. Fast forward to 21. I'm in college and a ways away from my hometown and from him and have a different boyfriend. I got a notification from Instagram saying he started following my profile. Ugh. I quickly blocked him, and not even 5 minutes later, I get a message on Facebook from a random profile I didn't know, and the message read, "Why did you block me on Instagram?" I lost it. I sent him a long message telling him if he contacted me in any way, shape, or form, I would get a restraining order, and told him how damaging that would be to his reputation and his future career. Again, he played the victim and told me that he couldn't believe he fell for a liberal bitch like me and to never contact him again. Never heard from him again, and good riddance. A few months later, I got a message from a girl who used to date him as well. She told me he used to threaten to self-delete and cry if she ever left him.
Men don't deserve rights.
He was 14.
Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck.
I'm saying the fact that a 14-year-old would do that.
Where were her parents? Why did you not tell your parents? You should have told your parents from the beginning. Your parents should have had a conversation with his parents. That shit would have ended then and there. Period. Fucking freak. When he said that he was gonna kill himself, you should have told him to do it. That's what I would have done.
Or the thing is, tell your parents, be like, oh my god, my boyfriend is saying this, and then they could talk to their parents and then deal with the situation. Because that should never be on a child. Like, a literal child. Like, holy shit.
First of all, where did he learn that shit from? Like, what a fucking incel, bro. Like, that is such incel behavior. And, like, men, we even talked about this in our last episode, or whatever.
Episode 6, yeah.
Like, 2 episodes ago. Where, like, men act like fucking incels. It's like, why can you just be a normal person? Just be a normal human being. Stop being weird. Stop following people. Stop like creeping people. Like stop having behavior. Like you are acting like a. Stop it. Just be normal. And then
Yep.
people complain like about like, oh, like women saying if you would choose the man or the bear, I would choose the bear 100% because a bear wouldn't do that shit.
No.
Like it would maul me to death, yes, but it wouldn't fucking stalk me for 7 years
and make my life a living hell.
and try to make me do things with them. I like, you know how you probably had experiences with people like that too, right? You can tell their vibe from a fucking mile away. So anytime I like feel that vibe from someone, I'm like, stay the fuck away from me. And if that person even tries to get near me, I'm like,
We're not doing this today.
I will call the police. I will complain because I had that shit happen to me on my last job too.
Yeah.
A fucking incel. Fucking these people, stay away. They're always like, they always look inbred too.
Yeah.
They always look inbred.
Like, why is that? Like,
It's because it's like all the inbreeding in their family has caused them mental health issues, like
it's almost
crazy.
It's like Neanderthal behavior.
Yeah, like they have like crazy mental health issues to the point of like all they think about is like, the woman. Get a life. That just sounded like Elvis when he said that. But like, get a life, dude. Like, ew.
And speaking of Elvis, he also did that. He married Priscilla at 14 years old.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Men, boo.
Yes.
Boo.
Yes.
Bunch of incels, dude. Ugh. Like, you have nothing better to do than to think about women, talk about women, try to get with women. Get a life. Get a life.
That is their life. Like, their life is so pathetic that is their life. That's the thing.
Like, I know that there are women like that too. It's get a life. Like, focus on yourself.
Yeah. It's even after, like, your frontal lobe is developed, like, women too. It's just, like, I literally saw a TikTok saying, like, what the difference between a woman and a girl is. A girl literally begs for attention from men, boys, whatever. A woman knows her worth and doesn't
Focuses
chase
on
that
herself.
and focuses on herself.
Yeah.
Doesn't get into bullshit like this. So, categorize yourself accordingly, basically. Okay, so that was the last one of the stalker stories. I do have a few more, but we're gonna save that for another video. Because those ones were a lot.
It's like triggering me. Like, it's like,
Yeah. So I think 3 was enough for that.
yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to some haunted Reddit paranormal stories. First one, I had a haunted doll. She was one of those who had a dress that covered a stand that would play music if you twisted it. I never saw her move, but in the dark her eyes seemed to glow just enough that I could tell she was looking at me. So I always faced her away when I went to sleep. My grandma had given her to me, so my mom kept it on my bookshelf. Every time I turned her, she would turn in the night on that rotating stand, which some would say is possible because of the unwinding from another time that I had wound it up, but I knew I had not wound it recently. The song that would play was Jingle Bells.
Oh.
Of all things, like what?
That's like...
Anyways, years later, when I was in my teens, I would be upstairs and hear Jingle Bells. And it would be a long time since she had been wound up. My bedroom was the only one upstairs because my sister was going to college. I couldn't find the doll anywhere. And by the time my dad came up, the song would stop. This went on for a while. Every now and then I would hear it and tell my parents, and they thought I was crazy. One day, I could tell she was wound up enough to hopefully get my dad. And when he got up there, he heard it. He followed the sound and found it coming from the highest part of my vaulted ceiling where the vent was. Anyway, he got the ladder and unscrewed the vent, and there she was. He was so mad because he thought one of my boyfriends or friends was sneaking into our house trying to scare me. He would not accept that I always knew that she was wrong. I knew she was evil. That times it happened would be random, and we lived 15 miles out in the country. I burned that doll and have never heard of it after.
Oof.
Honestly, good for you.
Do you remember the Snow White doll that I had?
That's the reason I brought this.
Yeah, you guys always thought that it was haunted, but like the thing is,
creepy.
I got it when I was like 12. It was like a brand new like doll. It wasn't like a vintage doll, but it was made out of china. Like
it was porcelain.
Porcelain. Sorry, yeah. And it was like a Snow White doll, and it had a little apple on its. I think we still have it. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, somewhere, I think,
But
outside.
you and Amu, our brother, always thought that it was like haunted, but I never got that vibe from it. I think it just looked creepy.
Because the eyes is just like...
Yeah, because it had, I think, closing eyes.
No, it didn't.
It did.
Oh, it did.
It had eyes that closed because it's
like when you would lay it down.
Yeah, because it was Sleeping Beauty. Or no, not Sleeping, what the fuck? Snow White. So it's like, if she would like, bite from the apple, her eyes would close, she would go to sleep. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But I never it wasn't haunted though. You guys were just freaked out over nothing.
Dolls freak me out.
I really love that doll. I love that doll. It was so like cute and pretty.
It's very cute and pretty, but dolls just freak me out, and I don't think I could ever own a doll.
Because I loved having like dolls and like the little baby dolls. Like I had like a couple of those when I was a kid too.
Like a little baby doll.
So cute.
I had one too. Like I had one that I used to carry around. It was like tiny. Yeah. But
I had one that was the size of a baby.
Yeah. Well, we used our baby clothes to like dress it and stuff. Yeah. That was fun. So the next one is called Big Comfy Couch.
Luna and Molly.
Mm-hmm. We actually had Lunette and Molly.
We still have them.
Yeah, I have. Mine was Lunette. Hers was Molly.
Yeah.
Mine was like.
I think it's in that closet. We have a storage closet right behind.
Hers was like a soft fabric doll. Mine was like a little bit harder.
It had a porcelain head and then porcelain feet. And then the rest of it was soft. And, and porcelain hands, I think. And the rest of it.
I think it was soft hands. When I was very young, like 5-ish, I loved Molly and the Big Comfy Couch. Me too,
Everyone did.
My parents got me a Molly doll with the couch included. She got the couch.
I wanted the couch.
I wanted the couch so bad.
With pull-out cushions?
Yeah.
Put your toys in there?
Oh my god. Anyways, okay. I remember one day I was playing with her and talking to her as kids do. I was asking her questions and making up scenarios and playing. I was sitting in front of her on the floor and she was sitting on her couch, and out of nowhere, her leg kicked up and kicked me in the face. I know for a fact I was not touching this doll. I asked her why she did that and felt this deep pit of fear inside me. The dynamic completely changed. I ran to the kitchen to tell my mom and aunts, but they brushed it off. Never had a fear of dolls, but have been horrified since that moment in time. And this is just a note, the original poster's mom ended up giving the doll to her cousin, who ended up donating it. Like,
they should have burned it.
The one thing. Animals and kids, when paranormal things happen, I believe them.
Yeah.
Like, kids are very, very susceptible to the paranormal.
And the thing is,
we're examples of that.
The thing is that they're so innocent. Like, why would a child come up with something dark and evil?
Like,
genuinely speaking.
Like, she loved Molly.
Yeah.
Why would she say this doll hurt her to get rid of it when she wants this Molly doll with the couch? Like, a child would never give up their favorite toy like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, that is, like, unexplainable. Except for, like, maybe she just, like, made it up or something, but I don't know.
Or she did, like, hit the leg or something and it hit her in return.
Yeah.
Like, kids do weird things. Like, I babysit for kids and they do a lot of shit and they don't think about it. Even though you tell them not to do it, they still do it. And then they cry about it later. And I'm like, I told you not to do it. I told you this was gonna happen, but yeah. Okay.
Last one.
This one is just a ghost or spirit. And this girl's encounter with it.
Okay.
So, I, 18 female, have been able to see and hear spirits, ghosts, entities, whatever you want to call them, for a number of years now.
Cool.
I live in my house with my mother, younger sister, and 2 of my older brothers. Yesterday, I was hearing banging around the house intermittently, which is not out of the ordinary, but it seemed to have gotten worse. Most of my family was gone, leaving me home alone until around 6:30 p.m. when one of my brothers got home. I was making myself dinner, and while I was washing a dirty pot, the water turned off by itself. I thought maybe a dish had slid and turned it off and thought nothing of it. Then, as I'm stirring some noodles in boiling water, I hear my brother, who does not live with me, say my name. I knew he could not be in the house because it was his birthday, and that is where the rest of my family was, celebrating his birthday. I also brushed this off.
Why was she not there?
She gets to that later. I also brushed this off because I hear my name called quite often from various voices.
Okay.
Then, after dinner, I made myself some hot chocolate and went down to my room to drink it while watching a movie. Honestly, same. I was leaned over my bed, pulling the covers back, when a really deep male voice yelled at me in my right ear. It sounded like if someone tried to jump scare you from behind by grabbing your shoulders and yelling, "Ah!" at you at full volume. It made me jump and spill my hot chocolate all over my bed. I turned around to be met with nothing but the feeling of malice. So I stripped my bed, mopped up the drink, rushed upstairs as fast as I could. My mom got home maybe 15 minutes later, and after I told her what happened and was visibly upset, she called 2 men in our neighborhood to come bless my room. This morning, I entered my room for the first time since the voice, and I could only describe the room as feeling thick with anticipation and uneasiness. So I've since saged the room and the entire house. This has left me rattled because I've never experienced something like this before, and it made me quite jumpy for hours afterwards. Does anyone know what kind of spirit or entity could have done this or why this would happen? I would like to note that the basement where I live has been under construction for months to be turned into an apartment. My room is almost completely different from what it used to be. Also, my dog, who was in the room with me at the time, was growling for a few seconds after I had spilled my drink. In the comments down below, she said that she hadn't gone out to her brother's birthday because her and that brother didn't get along.
Oh.
So the family had gone out and she decided to stay home because of that. But yeah, so she was home alone when they were out celebrating. That's basically all we're gonna talk about. But that's...
Yikes.
Obviously, we've told our paranormal experiences.
I actually had one recently. Didn't I tell you about it?
No. I actually heard my name called multiple times as a younger, like in my teens almost. I haven't had it since.
I had a more recent one, but it was when I had a fever. So I don't know if it was like a fever dream or if it was But I didn't even actually have the fever because the fever was over the day before. I was asleep down here in the basement, and I felt something, because there's a tiny little window up here and a tiny little window over there too. I felt something like come in, and I was facing this way, sleeping, right? And I felt something try to latch onto my back, and it felt like this really dark, evil thing. And I told you about it after it happened. It felt like this dark, evil thing, and it felt like a little like gremlin, whatever, tried to latch onto my back. And I was like half asleep, half awake. I reached around and I grabbed this thing like this, and it was trying so hard to latch onto me, and I had to rip it off my back. Yeah. And I genuinely felt like I was fighting for my life. I ripped this thing off my back and I threw it like this, and it went out that window. And I have not had that experience again.
Oh, when you were sleeping down here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right. This was during the summer.
Yeah.
And you were sick, and it was way too hot to sleep upstairs. Yeah. So you slept with me
But
downstairs.
my fever had broke the day before, I think. I was still sick, but my fever had broke.
Yeah.
So I had that like crazy nightmare. I was like half asleep, half awake, and then I woke up right after that. It felt like almost sleep paralysis, because I've had that before. And then also recently, because I had a kidney infection too. Last week or something, and I was sleeping with mom in her room. Yeah. And I had like a sleep paralysis experience, kind of, but except I didn't really see anything and nothing really happened. But I was like falling asleep, and it was like this weird thing where like I knew I was like falling asleep, but it felt like I was like paralysis was coming over my body. Yeah. But I was like extremely sick too, so it could be like just, put to that, like it could just be that. Stuff, yeah. But like I was like awake, and then like my eyes were closed, and I could tell I was falling asleep, but I was fully conscious, and it felt like I was like falling, and like I almost had like an out of body experience where like I was still kind of awake. It was like in that weird part where it's like you're awake but you're asleep, and I just kept on like going awake, asleep, and I was just like in that sort of limbo space for like a really long time, and I was so scared to like let myself fall asleep. I don't know why. I was terrified because I felt like something was gonna happen to me. I thought that like I was gonna die or some shit, because like I genuinely, my body was paralyzed, and like I finally just like let myself go to sleep, but my body or my brain was still fully conscious. Like I was still awake with my brain, but my body was paralyzed. And like then I just let myself like go into that paralysis state, and then I fell asleep for a couple hours, and then I got up again. And we thought that the reason for my kidney infection was
stuff going on in our life.
But so that was kind of crazy to me. Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone about that one, but that was insane to me as well.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, so like that's why
especially with the speculation that what we believe happened, because this kidney infection came out of nowhere. There was no signs. Like obviously kidney infections do just come out of nowhere.
No, they don't though, because they develop, like you have symptoms before.
Right? Yeah. She had no symptoms. She was perfectly fine, and then she woke up one day and she's just like, no, I need to go to the doctor.
And even the doctor was like,
he was shocked.
He was scared for my life.
At the state that she was in on that day. Because I took her to the doctor. I took a family emergency day. And I'm like, I'm taking her. We're going to get this sorted. And I was in the room with her. And the doctor kept looking at me like...
Yeah, he's like... Because he kept on asking me questions to like try to figure out the cause of it. Mm-hmm. And he's like... Did you have symptoms before? Like, when did this start? And I said, like, it just started last night, right? Because it happened the night, and then I went to the doctor that day. And he's like, he kept on looking at you and, like, to me, and he was like, he had, like, this confused and concerned face.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, if the kidney infection progresses quickly like that, it can turn to sepsis, which is a blood infection, which is pretty much has no way to recover from it. You could die.
Yeah.
So he immediately put me on antibiotics, and I'm better now, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But it was, and like every time something like that happens, I always, like, I've been getting sick so much this year too.
It's been crazy because she hasn't been this sick
in forever.
Ever.
Yeah, literally ever. Like
I've never seen her.
I've never been this sick. And I like every time I get sick, I get these like crazy dreams, like this body paralysis, but my mind is awake. Type of thing. And like if you've watched, what is it, like the first or second episode?
The paranormal ones that we have,
where I talk about my experience with like spirituality and like, you know, being able, like, I have that sort of gift or whatever, but like it's just scary to think about.
Also,
you know?
I've noticed too, like the last couple months, or especially this year, I've been having very vivid dreams. I've written some dreams down too, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Like lucid dreams?
No, not lucid. They just, like, they seem so real. Like, I can't control them, but it's like I'm there, and it's like, I'm part of this, like, it's real life.
Like you're awake.
Yeah, like I'm awake, and I don't feel rested the day after. Like, I feel like I was up all night. And it's happened like 2 or 3 times, and I wrote down the dreams and everything. So I was thinking we would do like a dream sort of journal and like talk about our dreams like that, because it's confusing to me. I'm like, what does it mean? I honestly don't understand what it means.
And we have a lot of things in like our life and I don't want to say who it is, but there's people in our life who like do like
they do
some
a lot
very
of stuff.
Unsavory things, and they for some reason have a vendetta against not us, but it's like against our mom. So like us as an extension.
Yeah.
I tied a black thread around my ankle because in our culture that like keeps away evil eye and all that stuff. And ever since I did that, I've been feeling better. But yeah, even when I was sick with the kidney infection, I had a sinus infection here, like such a bad sinus infection that my jaw was like throbbing with pain and my head hurt. It's just, and my tooth was hurting too. Like, I don't know, a whole bunch of things happened.
I feel like we should like do a video about like that sort of stuff in our culture, and then also what we've experienced and what we do to prevent it. The last 2 years of my life, I've had like a very strong sense that something's gonna go wrong. So I have started putting a black dot behind my ear every single day. I've only missed a couple of days, but the last 2 years, I'm not superstitious, but
I'm just a little stitious. Not superstitious, just a little stitious.
But since then, I've actually become like a little bit superstitious.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that I'll do, because like whenever someone says something and I don't want it to come true, I do knock on wood. Yeah. I've done that in my entire life. It's just something that I do. But this, I never used to think like nazar
affect us.
Like I never.
Yeah,
knew.
because like I've never gotten sick from something like that. Like I've never had like a physical illness.
The thing is, I have.
Yeah, but
when I was younger,
like I've never gotten a physical illness, and that like it progressed so like it was like one day I was fine. I was having a little bit of like I was feeling kind of dizzy one day. Like I went to work that day, and then I came home early, and then that night I fell asleep, and it all went to shit that night.
Yeah, like
to shit. I woke up the next morning. I was in so much pain, and she knows I was crying. I didn't eat anything for like 3 or 4 days. I don't even know.
Well, I ate like a little bit here and there.
I would like sleep all day, and I ate nothing, and all I did was like drink water and like have ginger ale and stuff, because I couldn't stomach anything. I couldn't eat anything. And then I went through 1 round of the antibiotics, and I've been fine since. Like I'm still having like checkups and stuff. Like I'm getting an ultrasound to see if it's like something else.
Yeah, trying to figure out exactly what happened.
But I'm not thinking it's an actual like physical illness thing, like something was actually wrong with my kidneys. I think it was more like somebody going zap, black magic, and like it just made me sick because I'm sensitive to those things.
Yeah, we'll definitely make a whole video about it once we figure things out and talk through some things between us two and our mom and exactly what has progressed in the last couple of years of our lives. and what is okay to share and what we don't want to share.
Yeah.
But I think it would be interesting to look into that, especially as Sikhs and Punjabis, that technically we're not supposed to do that sort of stuff or believe in that sort of stuff, but sometimes, you know,
but the thing
it's
is,
out there.
It's like there's people in our life who are doing those things to us.
So we just have to do a lot more research on it and figure it out for ourselves.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll come out with a video on it, because
it might take a very, very long time, like years, because we're trying to like get rid of this stuff and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that was stalker stories and some haunted doll paranormal stories. We'll definitely be making another one, because I love these Reddit stories, because it brings up memories and experiences that we've had that we have forgotten about, because I just remembered a bunch and I'm just like, oh, I should go and write these down before I forget.
We can tell that you guys like it because our paranormal ones have gotten so many views.
Yeah, and thank you for that.
We don't really have that many subscribers or like anything, so it's like those videos are actually doing pretty well.
And if you like the paranormal stuff and our own paranormal experiences that we share, please subscribe.
Yeah,
it just shows us that you're gonna keep coming back for this paranormal stuff, and comment on this video saying, hey, I love the paranormal stuff, like I would love to know your experiences. Have you ever had so and so happen or something like that?
Yeah, ask us questions if you guys want to know about like what experiences we've had.
Yeah,
ask us questions or leave your stories in the comments and we can talk about those, because I really want like people's stories, and then we can, you know,
build a community where we can share this sort of stuff, because it's something that we're both really into, like the supernatural, paranormal, and I'm really into true crime and learning about serial killers in Canada, especially because you don't learn a lot about those. The US a lot, and there's a bunch in like Europe, Asia and stuff like that, but we'll definitely be touching on those topics. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification to get notified.
Follow our Instagrams. We have separate Instagrams. We have a joint Instagram. We have separate TikToks and a joint TikTok as well, where we put updates on like our videos,
little snippets here
some
and
things
there.
About our lives if we travel somewhere, like
and silly little videos that we think of just in between each other.
Yeah,
or
so
something.
if you guys want more content, go follow us and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's in the description.
Yes,
right?
It'll always be in the description. And I'll also link episode 6. Go check that out. And we also have a paranormal playlist where you can just play them on together and it'll just go through them. And those are really interesting because we talk about a lot.
If you guys want to know, I think it was the first video we made, where we talked about like we talked more in depth about like some stories of our own paranormal stories
growing up.
And so if you guys want to check that out, go check that out on our channel as well. I think that's it.
Twins. Yo, let's go. And signing off for Satan and Angel.